What's going on, guys? It's Jimmy here. And boy, they must think that we're absolutely crazy with the Fed raising interest rates and things just getting absolutely wild. Look at what they're doing now. Take a look here. Yeah, as if things weren't bad enough, mortgage rates soaring now above 8%, which I will show you here in a moment. Now they're giving out 40-year mortgages. 40-year mortgages. The pros and the cons to a 40-year mortgage. Is there really any pros to a 40-year mortgage? You're literally paying on it for what seems like an absolute lifetime. First of all, I'm 42 years old, so I would have to have been 2 years old to start on this mortgage to pay on it. And this would have been my entire lifetime. 40-year mortgage. What is next? They might as well just call this a lifetime mortgage. Pay on it for your whole life, a lifetime mortgage. And with mortgage rates now at over 8%, which you can see here, I went over this in the last video. You got to watch my last video of this major warnings that coming from Macy's here, actually, which was absolutely just shocking to me what is going on here. These home loan rates are getting wild. How much it's costing people, affecting home loans, credit card rates, personal loans, auto loans. It's costing people tens of thousands of dollars. This is just getting out of control. Look at this. These home loan rates, 8.1% in Texas, California, 8%. And they're literally going up here every single week. Every single week. And it's just like, wow. Like, I feel like we're going to be at 10% mortgages here in a few weeks. This is getting so wild. And the Fed just keep raising interest rates here. This is on a 30-year. You can see how they're higher they go higher for each one. A 10-year is 7.4, a 15-year, and then a 30-year is 8%. What's a 40-year going to be? Is a 40-year 10%? Wow. Absolutely wild. Yeah, they might as well just call this the forever mortgage. Pay on it forever, and then we'll take your home, because who can pay on a mortgage for 40 years? Will you even still be alive then? Wow. Wow. Here's what they say here about the mortgage. Can you get a 40-year mortgage? We started to touch on this a bit above, but 40-year mortgages have their drawbacks. You think? You pay more interest, as if paying more interest, like we really need to pay on more interest on things. With a 40-year mortgage, you'll end up paying more interest on the loan. Yeah, 10 more years of interest. This happens in a couple of ways. First, because there's a longer payoff, lenders and investors interested in these loans will often charge you a higher interest rate to give you one. So it's going to be even higher than the 8% or 8.1%. However, you'll likely end up paying more in interest if the interest rate is the same, or even if it's lower. This is because the longer time frame means more interest. So not only are they're probably going to give you a higher interest rate, but you're also going to pay 10 more years of interest on the loan. Oh my Lord. I can't even just, and this is what it's come to be affordable for a home. This is what people are having to resort to. Yeah, and if you watched my previous video here on how much homes are cost, I'll link you to that video here in a moment, and this warning coming from Macy's here, which was shocking to people. Is this what it's come to now because of inflation? And yeah, and you know what? The feds don't care. they're going to keep jacking up interest rates over and over. They've already raised them like 11 times now, and they could be raising them even more. And even if they don't keep raising them even more, they're going to keep them higher for longer, they're telling us. And and yet the other problems here is that we're seeing these massive inflation spikes with all these industry workers and these unions. If you didn't see that video, I'll link you to that video here. You'll have a choice of one or two, because I really did some crazy videos here recently with the United Auto Workers here now requesting a 46% raise, which is going to be for GM, Ford, and Stellantis, which is 16 brands. They want a 46% raise, and they also want to go from a 40-hour work week to a 32-hour work week, which means they're going to go down to a 4-day work week, 4-day work week. But what do you think is going to happen to the price of cars? Yeah, I mean, think about this. If you have a 46% raise in labor costs, what do you think is going to happen to the price of cars? Are cars going to go up by 46%? Yeah, and this is for a 4-year contract. And remember that 4 years ago, they just had a raise 4 years ago. And 4 years from now, they're going to be coming back to the negotiation table yet again. And this is where it's like you got to kind of put politics out of it and just look at this as a realist. It doesn't really matter who the next president's going to be. These unions are going to come to the table every 4 years. So it doesn't really matter who wins the next presidency. And don't get me wrong, I understand that workers need a fair, you know, wage hike, they need to make a fair living. And we just kind of went over the headline here that, from from Entrepreneur Magazine, or now just kind of online here, about how to become a UPS driver, which now pays up to $170,000 a year for a full-time worker, including benefits. I actually read through it also. I think that's what they will make at the end of their contract here in a few years, when their contract expires. And guess what will happen then? Then they'll go back to the negotiating table yet again and do the whole thing again. They'll negotiate again and strike again if they have to negotiate yet a higher raise. And this is kind of yet the good and the bad, the double-edged sword of what we're seeing here. Just so you guys know, the airline industry, airline pilots just also successfully negotiated a 46% raise. They overwhelmingly rejected a previously, quote, more meager offer, and now successfully negotiated a 46% raise. Do you notice how the 46% raise seems to be the same percentage going around? So these industries are all saying, hey, those other guys got a 46% raise. We want a 46% raise. And they're all like, hey, if they can get 46%, we want 46%. There's no reason they should get it, and we shouldn't forget it. I want a 46% raise. Social Security wants a 46% raise. Seniors want a 46% raise. People on disability want a 46% raise. Why shouldn't everybody get a 46% raise? And then guess what will happen? Inflation will be 46% raise. And then everybody will blame it on, I don't know, the president or Congress or whoever they want to blame it on. But the reality is that inflation will be 46%. I mean, come on, guys, this is just common sense. If everybody gets paid 46% more, what do you think is going to happen to prices? Prices are going to be 46% more, or somewhere close to it, right? This is just pure rational sense, right? This is common sense. If they have to pay labor 46% more, I mean, maybe the cost of goods won't be quite 46% more, but they're surely going to have to raise prices significantly. It's just kind of reality. I mean, let me know down below in the comments what you think about this. But if we're seeing industry after industry after industry after industry with hundreds of thousands of workers do this. And one industry does this, and another industry does this, and another industry does this. We're talking about millions of workers. And then it's just, and I mean, we're seeing this at Amazon, we're seeing this at Walmart. And guess what? Even the industries that aren't unionized, like Walmart, or I don't want to pick specific industries here because again, I'm not going to go look into each one. Trust me, I do enough research for me and my wife as it is to bring you guys all this information here on a daily basis. But the ones that aren't unionized, they have to pay more to anyways because they are not able to hire workers. Because honestly, it's a free market and it's a competitive industry. Because what happens is, here's a perfect example. Let's just say Walmart and Amazon, let's say they're not unionized, just as an example here, and they want to hire people for $7.25 as the federal minimum wage. They won't be able to hire enough workers. Sure, they'll be able to find a few people, a few suckers out there, we'll say. They'll be able to find a few people, teenagers and some people out there, but they'll never be able to hire the millions of people, the hundreds of thousands of people they need in all 50 states to staff all their stores at that wages. Why? Because most of the people, the rational people will say, hey, why would I work at this store for $7.25 when the gas station next door is hiring at a higher wage? The McDonald's at the next store, the Burger King at the next store, and the place at the next store are all hiring at higher wages. So again, it's a free market out there. Nobody's forcing you to work at one particular place when you can go work at another place or another place or another place or another place down the road. Okay, so like when you go at I want to say like a strip mall, but you get the idea. When you go at a place and there's 10 stores there, you could go work at any of the 10 stores. Okay, and this is where big employers like Walmart, Amazon, GM, Ford, Stellantis, they have to be competitive, but when they're unionized, they can really stick it to these companies and get 46% raises. Now, that's good for the people that work there. Don't get me wrong, I would try to get as much raise as I can too. More power to them. Again, just being a realist here. Let's be real. We're all being real with each other. But on the other hand, that is going to raise prices significantly. So when you go to buy a car, don't complain. Don't blame the president, whether it's Trump or Biden, because Trump could be president here in a year. Biden could be president here in a year. Trump was president 3 years ago. It doesn't matter who the next president's going to be, because all these companies are going to come back to the negotiating table here in the next year, 2 or 3. And I'll still be here on YouTube talking to you here when they come back to the negotiating table. And I'm going to be telling you the same thing. No matter who the next president is, guess what? I'm going to still be here no matter who the next president here. I was here when Trump was president. I'll be here when the next president's here. I'm going to be telling you the same thing. These companies are going to, or these employers are still going to be here negotiating their massive raise the next time around. Okay. So this is kind of, you get to hear the double-edged sword, right? Good for the employees, but it's also bad for inflation. When you go to buy that next car, the average car payment is over $700 a month. When you go there and they're like, hey, this brand new car, it's really nice, but it's $800 a month for the next one. Now you know why. Does that really have anything to do with the president? I don't know. You can let me know. And again, it might have something to do with your political preferences. You might be able to blame somebody. And when the next president comes around, again, it might depend on who you want to blame, but you really got to come down to the details here, okay? These workers are going to go there and they're going to be like, hey, we want 46% more. The airline pilots wanted 46% more, okay? Does that have anything to do with the president? I don't know. You can let me know your thoughts, maybe. But again, just go down to the details here, right? All these workers are going to constantly want more. And then in 4 more years, they're going to do the same thing, no matter who the president is. And then in another 4 more years, they're going to do the same thing. And again, you could just fast forward here. Who even knows who the president is back then, right? So can you even blame a future president 4 or 8 years from now? These guys are going to continue to want massive raises. This is just the reality of things, right? And they're saying the next Social Security raise is going to be like 3% or less. So listen, guys, this is what I do. I'm here to tell you guys the truth of what is really happening here. This is the stuff that your news does not cover. Did they explain this stuff to you guys? Probably not. Yeah, so this is just the cold hard truth of what's happening here in the world. So let me know your thoughts here in the comments. I'll keep you up to date here. If you haven't yet, click the subscribe button down below. Share these videos. Share these videos on social media, Facebook, Twitter, anybody that needs to hear this. And don't forget to hit the like button for us. It helps out our YouTube channel. It helps YouTube say that this is a good video, and it will help them send this video to other people as a suggestion. Click here to see why the next round of inflation is going to be massive, or click here to see the massive warning that Macy's just sent out to millions of Americans. Click on one of those videos next. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next video.